We are here for a special episode of Web3 Ready. We're here at the North American Blockchain Summit that the Texas Blockchain Council is hosting. I have a very special guest today, Miss El Salvador. Thank you for being on the show.
Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for this interview, and I'm so happy. I'm so glad to be here. It's my first time at this conference, and I'm liking it a lot.
I'm happy to hear that. Is this your first time in Texas?
It's not. So I lived in Texas for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
I studied in UT.
Nice.
Actually, I barely moved from Texas last year. I miss Texas.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How is El Salvador treating you?
Well, Salvador right now, it's amazing. It's the place to be right now. It's one of the safest countries in Latin America. Bitcoin is legal tender. So there's a lot of investment in El Salvador right now.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people from all over the world are going to El Salvador to live, to raise their families, to have their companies, everything.
That's awesome. Could you break down for us what El Salvador and the Bitcoin community looks like over there?
Okay, so I just moved to El Salvador in April, and El Salvador made legal tender in 2021. But to be honest, a lot of Salvadorans, they do not know how to use Bitcoin. They do not know how to start investing. They don't know anything about Bitcoin. They just know that it's something very volatile.
Yeah, volatile. Yeah.
And so that's why they're a little bit afraid to invest in that. So that's why I am educating people in El Salvador to start at least putting $1 in Bitcoin, you know, because I'm telling you that this is going to be the freedom of our economy, of our finances, you know. So I think it's very important that not only foreigners take advantage of Bitcoin, but only Salvadorans.
So before I go into your educational initiatives, I want to understand more for our audience. What is the biggest bottleneck? What's the biggest problem in El Salvador right now in regards to Bitcoin? Because from an outsider's perspective, from an American perspective, it seems like El Salvador has adopted Bitcoin. You know, people seem to be using it there, the government for sure at the minimum. So it's very surprising to hear that people really don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think, the government made it legal tender, but they didn't implement education. So I think that it's a problem because when you want to pay in Bitcoin, like some people are like, no, I don't want to accept it, even though it's legal, like you can. So only the foreigners are the ones going to El Salvador and doing their business in Bitcoin, paying everything in Bitcoin, and telling Salvadorans to accept Bitcoin, that is like a good thing. And also Salvadorans, they think that only rich people are the ones that can have access to Bitcoin. And that is not true, because you can literally invest $5 a month in Bitcoin and it will keep growing, you know, but that's something, at least you are like putting your seed. So I think that's the main problem. But I see this when the internet was new, you know, everyone was like, no, what's that? I would keep writing in my notes, and now no one can live without internet. So I see that in Bitcoin right now. It's a new thing in El Salvador, and people are getting used to it, and they will have to learn.
Yeah.
So they will get to use it more.
So are people buying like coffee or going to the grocery store and buying it with Bitcoin?
Yes, literally. You can pay everything. You can pay your rent.
Wow.
You can pay water, your cell phone.
That's so cool.
Everything. Yes.
That's very cool. So tell us what kind of educational initiatives you are working on to educate Salvadorians on Bitcoin.
Okay, I will tell you why I started. So when I decided to wear my Bitcoin outfit at Miss Universe, I told the designer I wanted to be on Bitcoin, and he told me no, because Bitcoin doesn't represent us. The government only did this to steal our money. And I was like, no, that's not true. But that's what they believe, you know, because Bitcoin dropped. That's why they believe that. So when he told me that, I was like, okay, after Miss Universe, I'm going to make a project that I'm going to educate people about Bitcoin, tell them my experience, how it changed my life, how like the system doesn't want us to be free, you know, because at the end, the money that we have right now in the future, every time it's going to increase more and more and more instead of decrease more and more instead of increasing.
Yeah.
So if you have only Bitcoin, you're going to be self-independent in your finance.
So why do people think that the government is using Bitcoin to steal their money?
Okay, so the government made this Chivo wallet that you can put your Bitcoin there and you can pay everything with the Chivo wallet. So at the beginning, when they did it, they gave $30 to all citizens.
Isn't that a good thing?
It is a good thing, but someone hacked
the wallets.
The wallets, yeah. So like at Salvador, they have $30 and then they didn't have anything. So that's why they thought that the government made it to steal their money.
So basically, El Salvador, the government made a wallet for all the citizens. That wallet got hacked, and therefore many people thought that the government actually stole their money.
Exactly. But not all got hacked, but some.
But a lot.
And then a lot of Salvadorans, they didn't know they didn't know anything about Bitcoin, you know.
So let me ask you this. Does the government of El Salvador, you said they made the wallet. Do they control it, or is this a decentralized wallet? They control it.
Yeah, there's ATMs.
That's very interesting. So, you talk about Bitcoin and that idea of decentralization, but then your government is centralizing the process by making and, controlling the wallet.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting mix. And my question to you is, what does that practically look like, right? Because you have Bitcoin over here, which is decentralized, then the wallet is centralized.
Well, you can also use another wallet and pay with whatever wallet you want. The government made this wallet to maybe introduce Bitcoin to Salvadorans, but at the end, you can pay with whatever wallet you want. Decentralized, centralized, it doesn't matter. But like they gave those $30 only when you download the Chivo wallet. Yeah.
So do you think the launch of Bitcoin in El Salvador was successful or is a failure?
I would say it was successful in some way and maybe failure because they didn't put education on it. But it was a success because now, because of that, there's a lot of investment and new people coming to El Salvador and a lot of migration and a lot of people. So there's a lot of population of Salvadorans in the USA. Now, all of them are coming back to El Salvador because of Bitcoin. And not only Salvadorans, like I said, only a lot of foreigners. So I would say it's more successful because now we have more investment, more business, and El Salvador is growing a lot.
Wow. So in your opinion, the implementation of Bitcoin in the country of El Salvador was not only successful, but has positively impacted the country.
Yes, a lot. Because now also there's a lot of tourism now.
Wow.
A lot. So, yeah, Bukele is doing a great job, like bringing a lot of tourism and like people want to just go to El Salvador and know how it is with Bitcoin, you know?
So what does that look like if another country like America or Russia or China, these big world powers, what would that look like if one of these countries implemented what El Salvador has implemented?
Well, I think I don't think the government will want that. The government of USA, of Russia.
But like you said, in El Salvador, it has helped the country so much. Granted, it's different than America or Russia, right?
Yeah.
But do you see it being practical for countries to adopt a policy that is pro-Bitcoin, that is pro-digital assets?
Definitely, because at the end you're gonna be free.
Yeah.
You're gonna be free of the inflation, for example.
But would the government want that?
Of course not.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, no.
Very nice. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more about what you do. How do you work to educate people on Bitcoin?
Okay, I started one of my main projects was about educating people about being self-independent in their food. Because at the end, you cannot eat Bitcoin, So for me, the most important thing is to be self-independent in your food, in fruits, vegetables, medicinal plants. And I've been doing this 10 years ago because my father, he got pancreatic cancer. And he got cured because we started to grow our own organic food and because he started to take the CBD oil.
Wow.
We started to grow cannabis
Wow.
at their place. I started to do the CBD oil and give it for free to people in need because, well, I don't know if you know, but pancreatic cancer, it's one of the most difficult cancer to
Overcome. Yeah.
Yes. Steve Jobs, he got pancreatic cancer and he died, even though he got all the money in the world. So it doesn't matter if you have all the Bitcoin in the world, if you don't have health, you don't have anything. So that was my main project, to make people self-independent in their food. And then when my country made legal tender Bitcoin, I was like, well, this is the perfect mix, like being self-independent in your food and being self-independent in your economy and finances. If you're autosufficient in those two things, then you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to be depending on anyone ever. You have the most important things that human beings need.
Definitely. That's awesome. So what kind of channels or initiatives do you work on to educate people? Like, what do you actually do? Like, is it content? Do you go speak at seminars? Do you do workshops? What kind of things do you actually do to help educate El Salvadorians?
I speak in seminars, I go to schools, and right now I'm working on a project that I want to start making videos and explaining how easy it is to, like, it doesn't matter if you don't have a garden, you can literally do it in a wall. You can put your hydroponic system and you can start growing something, and then you can start doing self-sufficient communities, like you grow lettuce, I grow tomato, the neighbor grows apple, so we all share,
And we all buy it from each other with Bitcoin.
Exactly.
That's funny. That's awesome. So, wow. What kind of differences do you see between like what El Salvador is doing with Bitcoin and the initiatives in the United States with cryptocurrency and digital assets?
What are the differences?
Yeah, like when you go to El Salvador and then, you travel to America and then back, what kinds of things are you noticing or, seeing that in the adoption of digital assets?
In El Salvador.
In El Salvador. And, I'm trying to make a comparison between what you're seeing, here and what you're seeing in El Salvador.
Well, when I went to the other conference in LA, I saw that a lot of people, they wanted to like have legal tender like in El Salvador, and all of them wanted to go and live to El Salvador. But why not, instead of going to live to El Salvador, you just like do it in legal tender?
Yeah.
USA too, and I know here in Texas it's a good thing. It's a big thing too. So,
do you think Bitcoin should be legal tender?
Of course.
Why?
Because it's freedom. We don't have to depend on the government. We don't have to depend on the Federal Reserve. So for me, it's like getting out of the system.
That was a great answer, just so you know. Again, I want to go back to this comparison of what you see like in the States here versus there, because I think there are a lot of lessons we can draw from what El Salvador did and what the people feel, so that if the government decides to make illegal tender here or adopt it here on a grand scale, how do we avoid mistakes and how do we avoid situations where the government is abusing the idea of decentralization and trying to centralize what cryptocurrency is?
I don't see something that, well, at the end, I think they want to control us, the government, the system. So I think the first thing is to educate people, like what is Bitcoin? What is money? Why is it important to be free in your economy? I think that's like the most important thing. So if all the country, all USA know about this, then they will have like an argument to say that they want this as legal tender. But if just a few know, and I don't think it's gonna happen,
So a big problem in America is that a lot of our policymakers don't understand cryptocurrency or Bitcoin A lot of them are older folks. And at the Texas Blockchain Council, we try to educate these regulators. How would you suggest that we kind of bring them up to speed and help them understand? Because there's two sides in politics right now in terms of cryptocurrency. You know, we have a big group of officials who really believe in cryptocurrency and believe specifically in Bitcoin. But we have another group like Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren, who really do not like crypto. So how can the Texas Blockchain Council educate policymakers?
Okay, so I think she doesn't like it. I will say because she doesn't understand
Right.
the ideology of Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
Of being free.
Well, most of the policymakers don't.
Okay, exactly. So I would say that first it would be like you could ask them like how was life 10 years ago? It was a lot cheaper than it is right now.
For sure.
And if you think about it, life should be a lot cheaper right now because there's a lot of technology. Everything is easier. So if everything is easier, life is easier, there's more technology, then life should be a lot cheaper. It's not increasing. And that's what is happening. It's increasing instead of decreasing. So you should see like what history, you know, like go a few years back and see what's going on with the dollar. Well, not with the dollar, with all the currencies of the world that instead of like going up, they're going down. And the money that you had 20 years ago, it's not the same as the money that you have right now.
Do you ever think that that will be the same case with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Do you think that the government will somehow ruin it or, you know, take over and control it?
Yeah, I think if they take over the crypto and Bitcoin, of course, we will never get
Situation?
Yes.
So you don't ever think that there will be a government or a group of governments that will control Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies?
There will be some.
Do you think that there will be like a group of governments who control it?
Yeah, I'll guess there will be, but that's the good thing about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That you can get decentralized. You can get some other wallets, some other apps that are decentralized, and you can get out of it. So that's a good thing about it. Yeah, they can control it if they want. Like, they can do their own wallet, and they can say, you can only pay with this wallet. If not,
Right.
We will not accept your money. But at the end, I think there's always going to be a way.
Yeah.
You know?
And do you think, what is your opinion about other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin?
Well, I don't like cryptocurrencies that are centralized.
Yeah.
So that's
which ones don't you like? I'm putting you on the spot here.
To be honest, I don't know a lot of the names, but okay. So when I started to be in the crypto world, I started to invest in some like other coins, like Shiba, Solar. I don't even remember.
Solana,
yeah, that way. Yeah, I started on those, but then I saw that they were centralized, and I was like, what's the point of it, you know?
Yeah.
And then right now, yes, I'm only Bitcoin. What about you?
I actually like I'm in what I call Web3.
Okay.
So, you know, that includes cryptocurrencies, NFTs, the metaverse, and among other things. And, you know, I think that the cryptocurrency ecosystem has evolved a lot, right, since the birth of Bitcoin. And I think nowadays you're seeing a lot more centralized participants. You're seeing a lot more companies starting coins. And I don't think that that will be the end game. I think the true ethos of cryptocurrency is decentralization, is leave it up to the users. And so I don't think we have as much as we used to, because I think there's so many new projects, and all of these projects want to control the actual project instead of we made a project, we're going to put it out into the public for the public to decide how, you know, what happens to it. So I do like it all. I'm not just into Bitcoin, but I think there are a lot of difficulties in order for this industry to be adopted that we have to overcome.
Yeah, Actually, I do like the metaverse. I think it's very
do?
useful. Yeah, the metaverse I
Okay.
do because I think it's like, it's logical, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say otherwise.
Well, like for example, I don't know, if you want to do a conference, of course you cannot have like billions of people in that conference, but in the metaverse you can. So I think you can have a better reach
Yeah.
of people, no, if you do these kind of events in the metaverse.
Do you think that the metaverse is practical on a large scale?
Yes.
You think we'll be using the
I
metaverse?
think it will, but at the end, I think it will make us more alone, more lonely.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that, and I don't like that because, well, at the end, we're human beings and we still need,
Need
the
connection.
physical touch,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
To see things in person. So I think it has its cons and pros.
Have you tried the Meta Oculus glasses, like the VR?
I've tried one once.
And what did you think about that?
Like I said, it's great. But now, okay, imagine if you are with your family watching a movie, and then you use those things with your family. You're not gonna interact. It's not gonna be the same.
Right.
So yes, it's good in some ways, but I think it will make us like more lonely, and I don't like
agree.
that.
I agree. Is there any particular thing you want to talk about or you want to discuss for our audience?
Well, I would want to talk about a little bit of what I'm doing
Please.
in El Salvador. So, like I said, I'm promoting self-sufficient in food because of my dad, because at the end, human beings, they can stop traveling, they can stop buying stuff, they can stop, like going to places, but they will never stop eating, So that's like one of my main focus, like make people aware of being self-independent in food. Because, for example, in El Salvador, we get our meat from Nicaragua, we get fruits, vegetables from Mexico, from Guatemala, and we do not grow almost anything. We grow coffee and some other little things, but we are not self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So that's something that, like I mentioned, I did in Mexico because I'm half Mexican and my family, they live in Mexico. We started to grow like in hydroponic system our own fruits, vegetables, cannabis. And then we started to do the CBD oil because it helps for people that has cancer, Parkinson, tumors. CBD, the cannabis, it's a very miraculous plant.
Yeah.
So to keep like helping all of these people with the CBD oil, we started the business to sell the CBD oil because it's organic. We do not use any pesticide, any chemical in our fruits and vegetables. And then we started to do the medicinal teas for different diseases and lotions for the face because I don't know if you know, but the CBD regenerates the cells.
On your face.
Yeah, like if
I
you
need
take
that
it,
then.
If you take it, then you will regenerate. Like cancer, it's cancerogenous cells.
Does it help acne?
It helps for everything.
Okay,
yes,
so
because it regenerates cells.
Everything. Okay. So do you accept cryptocurrency?
Yes,
Please
I
tell me you
accept
do.
Bitcoin.
Okay. I was going to say, you can't be a Bitcoin educator and sell products and not accept Bitcoin.
Where's I accept
That's
Bitcoin?
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you mine any Bitcoin?
I don't.
You don't. Why not?
I should, right?
I've heard it's impractical for the individual now.
Do you?
I do not. No. I heard it costs a lot nowadays.
Yeah, it does.
Well, any final words before we go?
Well, thank you so much for hosting me, and I am so happy to be back in Texas because I used to live here and Texas has a place in my heart. And I hope that everyone that does not know about Bitcoin be educated, like have information about it, search. And well, if you have any question, you can just message me and I will be happy to help them.
There you go. Well, you guys heard it here first. If you want to learn about Bitcoin or the crypto world, please reach out to Miss El Salvador or find us here at Web3 Ready. Guys, this has been a great show. We are here live at the North American Blockchain Summit. Thank you guys for watching.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.